What if the country you retire in could make a major difference to how much government pension income you receive? Canada and the United Kingdom both provide retirement benefits, but their systems work very differently. Canada has the Canada Pension Plan, known as CPP, plus Old Age Security, or OAS. The UK primarily relies on its state pension based on your national insurance record. So which system actually gives retirees more? Welcome to Frank Canada Today. In this video, we're comparing Canadian CPP and OAS with the UK state pension, looking at how each system works, what determines your payment, and why the biggest monthly number does not necessarily mean the better retirement system. Let's start with Canada. For many Canadian retirees, retirement income from the government can come from two major federal programs, CPP and OAS. Although people often talk about them together, they are fundamentally different programs. CPP is an earnings-related pension. In simple terms, the amount you receive is connected to your contributions during your working years. How much you contributed, how long you contributed, and the age at which you start receiving CPP can all affect your payment. This means two Canadian retirees can receive very different CPP amounts. Someone who worked for many years and made higher CPP contributions may receive considerably more than someone who had a shorter contribution history or lower pensionable earnings. CPP also provides flexibility around when you begin receiving it. You can generally start as early as age 60, but starting early means a permanently reduced monthly payment. Waiting beyond the standard starting age can increase the monthly amount up to the applicable maximum increase for delayed commencement. That creates an important retirement decision. Do you take the money earlier because you need it, or do you wait and potentially receive a larger monthly amount later? Now let's look at OAS. Old age security is different
from CPP because it is not based directly on how much you contributed to the pension plan during your working life. Eligibility is generally connected to age, residence in Canada, and other rules. For many seniors, OAS provides an important additional source of retirement income on top of CPP. And this is where the Canadian system becomes interesting. Instead of relying on one single government pension payment, an eligible Canadian retiree may receive both CPP and OAS, depending on their circumstances. But there is an important point that many people overlook. OAS is subject to income-tested repayment rules for higher-income seniors. In other words, having a higher income can affect how much OAS you ultimately keep. So when comparing Canada with the UK, we cannot simply look at the maximum payment from one program and declare a winner. We need to look at the entire system. Now let's turn to the United Kingdom. The UK state pension is primarily based on your national insurance record. Under the new state pension system, the amount you receive depends largely on your qualifying years and your national insurance history. For someone who has built up enough qualifying years, the UK state pension can provide a predictable foundation for retirement income. But again, your individual payment depends on your record. Someone with a full qualifying record can receive the full new state pension, while someone with fewer qualifying years may receive less, subject to the applicable rules. There is also an important difference in how people think about the two systems. In Canada, CPP is closely connected to employment earnings and contributions, while OAS is a separate age and residence-based benefit. In the UK, the state pension is much more closely connected to your national insurance record. So, which country pays more? The honest answer is, it depends. There is no universal winner for every retiree. A Canadian retiree with a strong CPP contribution history
may receive substantial CPP income and may also qualify for OAS. A UK retiree with a full national insurance record may receive the full state pension. But comparing only the headline monthly payment can be misleading. You also have to consider taxes, eligibility, contribution history, residency requirements, retirement age, and whether the individual receives other benefits. Another major issue is timing. In Canada, the age at which you start CPP can have a significant impact on the amount you receive each month. Delaying CPP can result in a larger monthly payment, which may be attractive for someone who expects to live longer and does not need the money immediately. OAS can also be delayed, potentially increasing the monthly payment. The UK system also has its own rules around state pension age and qualifying years. This means retirement planning is not simply about asking which country pays more. A better question is, which system provides the better outcome for my personal circumstances? Imagine two retirees. The first retiree worked in Canada for decades, contributed consistently to CPP, meets the requirements for OAS, and has limited additional retirement income. The second retiree worked in the UK for many years and has a strong national insurance record. Their government pension income could look very different, even though both individuals worked for most of their adult lives. Now consider another situation, someone who has lived and worked in both Canada and the UK. This can make the comparison even more complicated. International agreements and coordination rules may affect eligibility for certain benefits, depending on the person's circumstances and contribution or residence history. That is why anyone who has lived in both countries should not assume that they will simply receive whichever pension is higher. Their individual records need to be examined carefully. There is another factor that deserves attention, the cost of
living. A pension amount that looks generous on paper may not provide the same standard of living in every location. Housing costs, healthcare expenses, food, utilities, taxes, and other everyday expenses can vary significantly between Canada and the UK. So even if one country's government pension appears higher after converting currencies, that does not automatically mean retirees in that country are financially better off. Currency conversion can also create confusion. Canadian dollars and British pounds are not directly comparable without considering exchange rates, and exchange rates change over time. For someone planning retirement internationally, the more useful comparison is purchasing power and total retirement income, rather than simply converting one monthly payment into another currency. And there is one more important consideration. Government pensions are only one part of retirement income. Many retirees also rely on workplace pensions, personal savings, registered retirement accounts, investments, or other government programs. Therefore, a retiree receiving a smaller government pension could potentially have a stronger overall retirement position if they have substantial private savings or workplace pension income. On the other hand, someone relying heavily on government benefits may need to pay much closer attention to eligibility rules and payment amounts. So is CPP and OAS better than the UK state pension? For some retirees, yes. For others, the UK system may provide a stronger result. There is simply no one-size-fits-all answer. The Canadian system has the advantage of combining an earnings-related CPP benefit with OAS for eligible seniors, while the UK state pension provides a structured benefit based largely on national insurance qualifying years. The key is understanding what you personally qualify for. If you are approaching retirement in Canada, review your CPP contribution record and your estimated CPP entitlement. Also, check your OAS eligibility and understand how other income could affect your OAS through the repayment rules. If you have worked in the UK, review your national insurance record and your state pension forecast. And if you have lived or worked in both countries, make sure you understand how your international work and residence history may affect your benefits. Never make a major retirement decision based on a headline number alone. Your age, contribution history, residence history, other income, taxes, savings, and planned retirement location can all change the final picture. The most important lesson is this. The better pension system is not necessarily the one with the biggest advertised monthly payment. The better system is the one that provides you with the strongest overall retirement income for your individual circumstances. And remember, pension rules can change. Payment rates, eligibility requirements, tax rules, and retirement policies may be updated over time. Always check the latest information from the official Canadian and UK government sources before making financial decisions. This video is for general information only and should not be considered personal, financial, legal, or retirement advice. If you found this comparison helpful, make sure to subscribe to Frank Canada today and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates about CPP, OAS, Canadian retirement benefits, pensions, and important changes affecting seniors. And now we want to hear from you. If you could choose between retiring under the Canadian CPP and OAS system or the UK state pension system, which would you choose and why? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching Frank Canada today. Stay informed, understand your benefits, and plan your retirement carefully. We'll see you in the next video.